Okay.
Jordan-esque, I'm not a big fan of. The rest of it was great.
Because all I've ever heard is that Jordan never won without Pippen, but we'll move forward. Starting with the Suns, season high 49 points for D-Book. Phoenix wins. I know. They clinched the NBA's best record. And Suns fans in Denver even gave Booker some MVP chants. Joker, what's going on? Joker's brothers are like, everyone be quiet. Fox Bet has the Suns as the favorites to win the West and get back to the finals. Brew, anyone beating the Suns in the West?
Wilds, not only is no one in the West beating Phoenix, no one in the entire NBA is beating Phoenix. I'm calling it right now.
Wow.
They are the NBA champion favorites. Yes. All right, nobody in FIBA, nobody in the Rucker, nobody anywhere is beating this team.
FIBA.
They remind me, and this will hurt Nick a bit, but they remind me of the 2014 San Antonio Spurs, who were so upset that they blew a championship in 2013 against Miami that they came back with absolute tunnel vision. They ran to the best record in the league, and they ran through the Miami Heat 4-1 in the NBA Finals. That's what Phoenix looks like. I mean, they are on a mission. Nobody's going to stop them. Look, they got a legit big three that fits together. That's important because some big threes don't fit, as we see with the Lakers. They have a big three where Booker's your scorer, Chris Paul's your orchestrator, and DeAndre Ayton is the big man that mans the paint offensively and defensively. Mikal Bridges, they got great role players that know and like their role. They've got arguably the best coach in Monty Williams, best home record, best road record, best record against teams with winning records by a mile. They got the highest scoring offense in the league and a top 3 defense. Like, what is not to like? The Phoenix Suns are the best team in the NBA this year.
Wow. So, listen, I have massive respect for Phoenix, Brew, and this is not a shot at them at all, but you said they remind you of the 2014 Spurs. I'm going to bring up a different team. They remind me, even though stylistically they're very different, just the arc of it, of the mid-2000s Detroit Pistons. A Pistons team that won a title, then the very next year was back in a Game 7, the very next year was in the conference finals, and the next year was the huge favorites to go back to the NBA Finals till a 22-year-old from Akron, Ohio, without a lot of good teammates around him, stole their soul. And that's what's going to happen to the Phoenix Suns when they play the best player currently in the Western Conference, Luka Doncic, in round 2.
Oh.
I don't think America is adequately prepared for what Luka's going to do this postseason. A little context. Luka Doncic has played 13 career playoff games. His numbers are, a healthy 34, 9, and 10 in those 13 games. He has 5 career 40-point playoff games. That is more than, already, he has more career 40-point playoff games than the Mailman, than Dame Lillard, than Tim Duncan, than Magic Johnson. He has the same number as Larry Bird and Giannis. He's one shy of Steph's career total. He's played 13 playoff games. And for the first time in his career, he's going to be playing in a postseason where you don't have 2 of the best wing defenders guarding him for all 48 minutes. All of his playoff minutes, all of his playoff games have come against Kawhi and Paul George. So do I see an arc for a Mavs team that since Christmas has been better against the best teams than any team other than Boston? A Mavs team that since Christmas has the 3rd best record in basketball. That this is going to be the official arrival as, oh my God, is Luka already the best player in basketball? I think that's what the Western Conference playoffs are going to be. Then the actual best player in basketball, Giannis, I think is going to win the title. But it happened around this time for LeBron. Luka's the closest thing we've ever seen to LeBron. I think the Mavs beat the Suns. Right now it'd be round 2. So the Suns are better than a round 2 exit team. But yeah, I think the Mavs are going to beat the Suns, Wilds.
All right, I'm going to throw something back to you, Nick. Why settle for the remix when you can have the real thing? Shaquille O'Neal said, you know what? If the Lakers get in over the Suns, and I'm starting to believe him, can we roll that sound of what Shaq had to say about the Lakers' chances?
I doubt they even make the play-in game. But if they do, they definitely have to win, and they will face Phoenix in the first round. And then if they make it to the 8th spot, they will beat Phoenix.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah, you heard me. Because AD going to be back. Yeah.
That's a bold prediction.
Shaq Stradamus will be correct.
Shaq Stradamus, Nick.
Yeah, I don't agree.
Are you buying that? You've been off of the LeBron corner, oddly. And me and Broussard are back on it. It's a real bizarre world we're living in.
No, yeah. I'm not off of the LeBron corner, but listen to what Shaq said. Shaq hedges it with, they might not even make the play-in. And then if they make the play-in, they might not even get out of it. But if they get out of the play-in, then a team that we're not certain would beat New Orleans in a winner-take-all is then going to beat Phoenix 4 of 7. No, I don't think that. I do think that if LeBron had the shooters around him that Luka has, that he could do, he still has the ability to do what I think Luka's going to do, but the roster's been poorly built, the team's broken. No, this is not, you stop trying to, the Wilds, Brew is always trying to shoehorn Jordan into conversations, calling Mahomes Jordan-esque. You're always trying to shoehorn LeBron into conversations. I just want to talk about the beautiful basketball. Let's give the Suns and the Mavs some discussion.
No, you bailed on.
You're always trying to talk about LeBron.
Well, look,
what has happened here? You bailed on LeBron and you took up Luka. You made a decision.
No, I didn't. There it is.
LeBron's available.
I didn't bail on LeBron.
Nick, right there's a logic. There's a logic for what Shaq said. What he's saying is he doesn't know when AD's coming back in the regular season, and because of that, they might not make the play-in. But if they do make the playoffs, AD will be there, and that's why he thinks they can beat the Suns. I agree with you. I don't think they'll beat the Suns, but that's the logic I believe behind Shaq. Now, quickly on your Luka point, now I'm with Phoenix since I'm predicting they're winning it all, but I kind of would like you to be right because I've been big on Luka. I've called him Luka Legend. All right, I've said he is the new age version of Larry Bird. Well, to be that, you got to start winning at some point. And so I would like you to be right, but no, Luka will not beat Phoenix. They got too much.
Okay, Nick, even though you don't have a vote, I'm still going to throw this to you.
Oh.
Last night, Booker got some MVP chance. Kyrie said, hey, MVP, Devin Booker. I think it was last week, Isaiah Thomas, the old Pistons Isaiah Thomas, said, you know what? MVP's Devin Book. And Book said, appreciate that IT, but their criteria changes depending on players' names. Nick, do you think it's weird that D-Book is being overlooked for MVP, didn't get a spot on your ladder? Do you think he deserves more consideration?
No, I don't think it's weird. I do think it's weird that all of a sudden you guys are taking legendary Isaiah Thomas's basketball opinion seriously, because when he talks about the greatest player ever, you're like, oh, we can't listen to Isaiah Thomas. He was just there for it. But on this, we're like, oh, Isaiah Thomas.
There's no bias
that's picking and choosing. You're just picking and choosing.
I
find it interesting. But to answer the question, here's the reason I don't think it's odd. And if I redid the ladder right now, Booker or Tatum might have taken Jokic's spot, and John Morant's probably missed too many games. So I do think he's going to make the ballot. But there's two reasons quickly, Brew, I don't think it's odd. The first one is whenever there is a real question about who the best player on a team is, both guys get penalized. Chris Paul got penalized for it last year. Devin Booker's getting penalized for it this year. It's a Steph KD situation, just they're not as legendary of players as Steph and KD, but it's the same thing. Like, reasonable people can disagree about who the best player on the Suns is, but the other reason is this, Brew, and you know this as a voter. You voters are usually a year late to the party. Except for Derrick Rose, it's very rare that a guy wins MVP the first year he's a candidate. Usually a guy has to play at an MVP level for a full season, and then the next season he comes in with buzz because you voters are so tied to narrative and all of this groupthink. It's really embarrassing. And because of that, you can't have breakthrough candidates like Booker. So I'm not surprised by it, but I do understand his frustration.
Look, I agree with your first, but your second point is ludicrous. I don't know where the narrative, group think, all that comes from. Yeah. But you're absolutely right. Like, there's a legitimate question, Nick. Whose team is it? Is it Booker's team or is it Chris Paul's team? And exactly I can't think of an MVP in history, all right, not just recently, in history, who has won the MVP where it was a question as to is it his team or not. Magic Johnson didn't start winning MVPs until the late 80s. 1987 was his first, I believe.
Yep.
Because Kareem, until Kareem got older, Steve Nash, maybe, because you had Amari Stoudemire. But even then, it was clear Nash was the driving force behind their winning the number of games.